From the Detroit Free Press, I'm Kayla Cockrell with today's Free Press Voice Briefing. It's Tuesday, June 13th, 2023.
This is Todd Spangler, Washington correspondent for the Detroit Free Press. Back in January 2022, it looked like a decades-long battle to fund and build a new supersized shipping lock in the Upper Great Lakes was finished. Army Corps of Engineers had committed enough money to the new Soo Lock in Sault Ste. Marie to pay for the whole thing, or so it was thought. Soon after that, the Corps had to go back to Congress and tell members that the price, initially thought to be $922 million, had exploded to $3 billion. A Free Press investigation shows what happened. A lot of it was inflation and labor shortages that ballooned after the COVID-19 pandemic. The Corps says it had a much harder time tracking down skilled workers than it expected, and material costs skyrocketed as the economy opened back up. But that wasn't all. There were also design changes, some of which could have been, and possibly should have been, foreseen. A 100-year-old wall some thought could be salvaged had to be replaced. And the logistical challenges of getting hundreds of workers to the site hadn't been adequately accounted for either. More than a year later, uncertainty still hangs over the new lock. Work is underway, so it's not so much a question about whether it will be finished, but when and how much it will ultimately cost. Every year that passes means certain aspects of the lock are likely to cost more, and it's unclear how much the Corps will ask for and can get from Congress each year due to tightening budgets.
I'm Frank Witzel with the Detroit Free Press. Theodore Kaczynski, the man the media dubbed the Unabomber, died Saturday in federal prison at 81 after terrorizing the nation for nearly 2 decades by sending victims homemade bombs until he was caught in 1996. His own writings and brother suggest that his tilt toward violence started while studying at the University of Michigan. The report, He Became Ted Kaczynski, He Left the Unabomber, was based in part on a letter and unpublished autobiography that Kaczynski sent the university's student-run newspaper. The Michigan Daily mentioned Kaczynski's dissatisfaction with his professors, what he considered low academic standards, and his experience in an Ann Arbor rooming house. Kaczynski became convinced his landlord had turned others against him. The 2006 report added he was tormented by the sounds of a couple having sex through the thin walls at the house where he was living. He reported the sounds to the university, which, of course, took no action. He began to have nightmares, the report added, and grew angrier and angrier. The Michigan Daily described visits to a psychiatrist and suicidal and then homicidal thoughts. It was during that time Kaczynski later told the psychiatrist he had decided he would spend his life killing. It would take another decade before he acted on those thoughts.
This is Detroit Free Press auto critic Mark Phelan. It is amazing how fast the electric vehicle market is evolving. Nissan's new Ariya SUV looked like it was going to be the vehicle to beat when the automaker announced it back in 2020. But today, as it goes on sale, it's just one in a bunch of good new EVs. The Ariya is a roomy hatchback. The EPA calls it a small wagon, but most owners will think of it as an SUV, and I wouldn't argue with them. It competes with EVs like the Ford Mustang Mach-E, Hyundai Ioniq 5, Kia EV6, Tesla Model Y, and Volkswagen ID4. Ariya prices start around $45,000. I tested a nicely equipped all-wheel drive model that had 389 horsepower, good audio, and other common features. It's stickered at about $56,000, including destination charge. My test car could go about 272 miles on a charge. Charging times can be as quick as 40 minutes to go from 10% to 80% using DC fast charging. The Ariya is in the middle of the pack, judged by price, range, and most other yardsticks. It's quick, comfortable, and has all the expected safety features. Its biggest challenge is that some of its competitors qualify for substantial federal tax credits, but it doesn't.
I'm Kirkland Crawford with the Free Press Sports Department. The long Tigers' nightmare is over. The Tigers seem destined for their 10th straight loss on Monday night when they trailed in the late innings against the Atlanta Braves. But 3 runs in the ninth, 2 runs coming on a Spencer Torkelson home run, a fabulous double play out of left field by Andy Ibanez, and a Spencer Torkelson walk-off single in the 10th ended the skid at 9 games as the Tigers beat the Braves 6-5. Now the Tigers somehow are still in this American League Central Division race, and beating the best team in the National League is a big boost. The Tigers will go for 2 in a row on Tuesday night when rookie Reese Olson takes the mound against one of the better pitchers in the National League, Spencer Strider.
For more stories from the Detroit Free Press, be sure to check out freep.com. That's FREEP.com.